Okay, guys, here we go. So I came across, well, somebody sent this to me in my Discord. $2 a month, guys. YouTube membership, access to Discord. Come on, boom. Anyway, everything aside, they sent this to me in the Discord, and it is called "Is Jon Stewart? It's Jon Stewart debate boring?" I don't know. I don't know if that's a sentence, but and it's by this person. I think her name is Khadijah. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I'm sorry. And my understanding is it's a little bit of a Jon Stewart hit piece, guys. Now, I don't know. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know yet. But listen, I like Jon Stewart a lot. All jokes aside, Jon Stewart is a person who has motivated me to make my content in the first place. I started getting into Jon Stewart when I was...
Zed King super chatted $5. Good morning, sunrise over mountains, Big Papa.
Good morning, brother. Thank you. I got into Jon Stewart around 2015, 2016, really when he was no longer engaging in politics. And I genuinely think that if he stayed on The Daily Show then, that we would probably have a little bit better of a public interaction with Donald Trump. I think he would have been able to call out Donald Trump in a better way. He's a man that I trust a lot. There's like a video I think out there that like I'd reacted to where like I wasn't happy with the way that he approached a certain topic, but overall, I love Jon Stewart. He's a person that really cares about the content he makes. And it makes me want to care about the content that I make. Not everything when we do silly, goofy reactions. But generally speaking, like, I respect the guy a lot. He cares about what he talks about. And he's somebody that's, you know, I will consistently listen to and engage with this content and go like, wow, and try to be a better person. The biggest thing that he's been on is talking about like how the Republican Party stands for nothing except for anti-LGBTQ rhetoric nowadays. They're overly identifying with Russia, a country that's antithetical to our freedoms of speech and expression, and they're more obsessed with drag show readings than they are with dealing with wealth inequality or child poverty or gun violence or really any actual issue. And it's okay to question things, but it's not okay to be specifically obsessed with one topic at the expense of others. And I like the guy a lot. I'm hoping to be able to go to his taping of one of his shows soon. My wife signed us up for a queue, which was really nice of her. I really appreciate that. So anyway, let's get this going.
George Santos, Herschel Walker, Donald J. Trump. Say hi, Tiny. What do these three menses have in common? Hypocrisy. For the uninitiated, George Santos is the homosexual politician that is still out here championing anti-LGBTQ legislation. And this is a photo of him, allegedly, in drag back in the day. Why would a politician who is out here championing anti-LGBTQ legislation have been all up in the rags? That's kind of...
Well, I don't know if that's actually true, but if it is, I think that there are a lot of conservatives who are anti-LGBTQ and they're gay. And like part of it is like a cope to hide that fact, to be honest with you. So I don't know what it is. I feel like the people who are against LGBTQ people the most are people who are almost trying to like write away the rights or get rid of the rights that they would have if they just accepted that they were gay. They're incredibly feminine. And it's like weird because I feel like most even conservative men, they're just like, okay, like I don't know. The conservative men I know, because I live in a more moderate progressive area, are just like, okay, gay people, I don't care. Like, they can exist. I don't really care. Like, it is what it is, But,
hypocritical. Herschel Walker, he's the man down in Georgia that really thought he was going to steal Raphael Warnock's seat. He was out here giving all the right-wing talking points, and one of those was about abortion. But then, come to find out, or as we say in Wolof, feka de wo, somebody came out and said that he allegedly tried to convince her to get an abortion twice. His son, Christian.
Yeah, the Herschel Walker thing, yeah. It seemed pretty credible. And Christian Walker's pretty against his dad because his dad was a deadbeat, shitty father. Respect to Christian Walker, by the way, for that one.
Christian Walker.
I very much love gender roles. I like masculine men, and I want my masculine man to pick the check up.
Yes, that Christian Walker. He was all up on Twitter talking about how his dad is he didn't call him a scumbag, but he did say that he was a hypocrite. How you gonna be out here being a father to all these different kids with all these different baby mamas, and you were telling people that you believe in traditional family values, conservative family values? No, we are pro-life, and you were out here trying to convince other people to have them. That seems a bit, like Christian said, hypocritical. And Donald Trump, the list goes on. Now, it would be all too easy to sit up here and read out a laundry list of right-wing conservative hypocrisy. But we don't just talk about the easy stuff over here. So today we're going to talk about it. But before we do, bonjour, nakam, hi. Welcome back to my channel. Nieces, nephews, nibblings, aunties, uncles, piblings. Y'all know what to do. But if you're new, feel free to take a look around. Suss out the vibe. I just sit in my living room and talk about whatever I want. And today I want to talk about, whatever the title of this video says.
Jon
Before we do
Stewart.
that, let's give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, and then let's get into
All right,
it.
what is the sponsor?
Thank
Sponsored
you to
by
Helix
Big
for
Cubs.
sponsoring today's video.
Another morning, another moment where I have to get away from my beautiful Helix premium mattress. Why must the gods be so cruel? Mondays, am I right?
Okay, that's a mattress, Dad. Buy the mattress, guys. Okay. Wow, incredible. Jesus.
So what inspired this video? Well, if you've been on Instagram over the past week, there was this clip going around from the Jon Stewart show.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. It's the problem with Jon Stewart. That's the show's name. But it's been going around constantly. There's multiple clips. I like that. I enjoy that I see them in my feed now instead of like bullshit manosphere stuff. Because it's like insufferable. So.
The problem with Jon Stewart. And it's him having a, quote, interview debate.
Okay.
Y'all know when I say debate like that. Anyway. But he was interviewing Oklahoma Senator Nathan Dahm.
Sure.
Now, the clip that they shared online,
was
YouTube
phenomenal.
and Instagram, is about 8 or 9 minutes, and I watched that whole thing. But the snippet that was coming out that I saw, and maybe it's because my algorithm is just so gay,
Boots the house down, mama, yes, God.
was the last section. Travis, roll the clip.
Yes, master.
You want to ban drag show readings to children.
To minors,
Why?
yes.
Why?
Why?
What are you protecting?
Why can we prohibit children from voting, those under 18 from voting?
Why are you
but
banning?
Also that
Is that free speech? Are you infringing on that performer's free speech?
they can continue to exercise their free speech, just not in front of a child.
Why?
Because the government does have a responsibility to protect.
I'm sorry?
The government does have a responsibility in certain instances to
What's
protect
the
children.
leading cause of death amongst children in this
This is a
country?
beautiful
And I'm
clip.
going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
Bro, this clip is fantastic. I loved this whole entire conversation.
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearm.
One of the really interesting things that Jon Stewart talks about, well, first of all, he talks about the Second Amendment, says the words well-regulated in it, so it's interesting. But it says, shall not be infringed. And this always, like, this kind of stuck with me. And then people are like, see, it shouldn't be infringed. And then John's like, well, are any of our constitutional rights supposed to be infringed? And it's like, just because it may say shall not be infringed doesn't mean that, like, that it doesn't make it a special right or special law. None of them should be infringed, but it also says well-regulated. Right? So it's just like it's just very interesting.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is. It's firearms. More than cancer, more than car accidents. And what you're telling me is you don't mind infringing free speech to protect children from this amorphous thing that you think of. But when it comes to children that have died, you don't give a flying fuck to stop that because that shall not be infringed. That is hypocrisy at its highest order.
Now, there were many things about this interview that I appreciated being said, but
Yeah, sure. I think the best part of the interview is the fact that it really tries to it's another series in understanding like what the Republican Party's current values are. And I think that if you're a conservative, you should be ashamed to identify with the party. Not because if you're conservative. I respect the concept of what a conservative is. Progressives try to move the country forward, and conservatives try to hold it back. And I know it sounds bad, but to me, if you do the equation correctly, you just get slower, more meaningful progression. Because you don't want to just progress all willy-nilly, because some things might be bad. It's good to be skeptical and question things. But the current state of the Republican Party is to overly focus on LGBTQ people and try to lock down and do absolutely nothing to help middle-class Americans or lower class or anybody other than upper-class Americans. And I'm not going to say Democrats are much better. The problem is that since the Republicans aren't coming to the table with anything, people are willing to take fucking scraps from Democrats, and it just kind of fucks us all up.
John. As much as I love a moral dressing down of a hypocrite especially, because I do love it, what was the reason? Because the entire time, even though Jon Stewart is stating facts, truth, things that other people smarter than him have studied and presented to him. I'm sure he has fact checkers and researchers of all kind at that show. Even if all of the stuff he's saying is correct, the thing that I'm not sure he understood is that he is talking to someone who doesn't give a fuck about being a hypocrite.
Okay. What does that matter, I guess? Because he's talking to somebody who's shameless, then it somehow removes the impact of what he's doing. I think the point of that clip is to, and let's be absolutely honest. This is what most shows will do: is they'll take a person. It doesn't matter how good or bad of a representation. Most of the time, people are looking for a bad representation of their point. A pundit, like Fox News will pull on like an ignorant progressive, or CNN will pull on an ignorant conservative, and they're trying to make the person like look bad. Now, I watch Jon Stewart consistently, and I would say that overall, he tries to pull on actual like intelligent people, generally speaking, who know what the fuck they're talking about. He doesn't just go for like the easy ones. I watch his show fairly like regularly, or at least I'll watch like the YouTube clips of it. So he's not as guilty as other people. But what does it matter? Because the point there is that like there is a hyper obsession when it comes to LGBTQ people, and he even uses the word amorphous. He doesn't go into the specifics about drag show, but he talks about how like it's not really like this huge issue, and he focuses on the real issue. He's trying to get people to recondition their brains out of like fucking LGBTQ shit. Look at every big content creator, like all the big conservatives, Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro. What are they talking about? They're like almost exclusively talking about LGBTQ people. They're not talking about any actual policies. They're not talking about anything that actually matters. They're just like performative artists or performative like commentary individuals who hyper focus on just gay shit all the time. Dylan Mulvaney, oh my god, a fucking cringe, like a cringe, what is it called? Theater nerd that happens to be trans. Oh, they're faking everything, blah blah blah. That's it. It's supposed to redirect your mind and kind of wake you up to what the fuck is actually going on. That's what it's really going for. That's what it's supposed to do, because the reality is that people, and I think we've all been victim to it, myself included, have been like manipulated into thinking that these issues that some conservatives bring up matter as much as they do. It's like, and like LGBTQ rights does matter. We just need to advocate for them. But from a conservative perspective, like how important do you think it is that a drag queen, most of the time, will go and like read a story to somebody? And even if you find it to be an issue, the parents are taking them there. And I find it to be an issue when it comes to sexualized drag shows, of course. But is this the number one issue in the world? When like you can't even afford to buy proper clothing for your kids. When, kids are dying from guns and lack of healthcare access. And kids aren't getting the right nutrition so that they can grow up to be intelligent. When they're not getting the right school access. When we'll put an additional, we spend a fifth of our overall taxes go to the military, and dick for shit goes to fucking kids to get them better educated. Like, is this really the number one issue? Is it worth more than a conversation once a week from a conservative perspective? Right? Like, Joe Biden is proposing, the elimination of student loan debt. And I kind of agree with it. But I don't see with conservatives coming up with their own argument, right? So the biggest issue, they'll say like, oh, it's just giving people a free pass. It's a problem, blah, 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 blah. I get that. It reduces accountability for people who may go to school, especially since a lot of these individuals with student loan debt are middle-class Americans. Now, they are paying taxes, but maybe they don't need it as much. My issue is that the system itself is fucked. It's too expensive to get a degree. And a big part of that is because of administrative costs. And this is like an Andrew Yang point. I would look into Andrew Yang. Talks about how like the way that he would deal with student loan crisis is he would implement he's not 100%, something like a 10 for 10, which means you pay 10% of your income for 10 years, and whether you paid it off or not, you're done. You're absolved. It still maintains accountability, but if you're somebody that can't afford to pay your student loan debt, it's not going to be too burdensome. And then, on top of that, when it comes to schools, you tell a school, hey, you could charge whatever you want, but if you charge too much in the administrative costs, which is going up and barely increases the student or teacher experience, you're just not going to get government subsidies. And all of a sudden they're going to go, well, shit, we get like 2/3 of our money from government subsidies, like 1/3 from the state, and like 1/3 from the federal government. I guess we have to lower the cost of our schooling if we want to make money, right? So I would argue that might be a little bit more of a conservative-leaning solution, right? Compared to progressives that are just talking about eliminating student loan debt. Right? It still maintains accountability, but it understands that the system is fucked. And especially when you add in the fact that people are going to high school and they're being told, go to college, go to college, go to college. When I was in high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. They told me to just go to college and figure out. There's nothing wrong with going to a 2-year community college and figuring it out and getting a little bit of an education. But if you don't know what you want to do, why didn't my teacher or why didn't my guidance counselor say, go into HVAC, go become a mechanic, go into a trade, a welder, a carpenter? They never directed anybody to do that. They directed people to go to college. And I can imagine maybe there's some kind of kickback there. Right? And so it's like there's a problem where we're almost like programming our children to like feel like they have to go to college. College isn't bad, But like, if you don't know why you're going to college, you shouldn't go for any longer than a 2-year associate's degree. And if you don't know what you want to do, because there's like, getting a 2-year associate's degree at community college is generally not super duper expensive. It still makes you more intelligent. It looks good on your resume. You still get that experience of going to school. And if you wanted to move that into an actual career field, to go to college longer, you'll get a lot of the prerequisites done. Which, by the way, some prerequisites are overburdened or like a little too cumbersome, but that's a different conversation. But like, if you got a young guy, maybe, or a young woman, but like if you got a young person who maybe didn't do really well in college and they're like, I don't know what I want to do. And you're like, well, maybe they're not financially maybe they're not like super savvy when it comes to computers or when it comes to, different like formal education, but maybe they're great with their hands. Oh, well, have you ever considered doing welding? We need these people. These are really good jobs. Trade jobs are jobs that are not going to go anywhere. We have a huge problem with technology driving down jobs. Driving down wages and displacing jobs. One of the jobs, like the jobs that are not going to be threatened by that anytime soon, are trade jobs because they're intricate. Because like no two plumbing jobs are the same. You kind of need a person in there doing the things specifically. They also usually have more robust unions, which will advocate for their workers when technology does start to displace. Right? Like, yeah, the right conversation is just not being had. Right? And so like that's the frustration. I believe I was talking about conservatives. I went off on a little bit of a tangent. Okay. Anyway, let's continue.
This is something that I see.
True. If you go to a trade school in case of zombie apocalypse and you're a welder, you'll be able to create a cool car that'll kill zombies. Great.
A lot in progressive leftist spaces. This is why I'm not a fan of the debate, bro.
The exact way that the result in Bolivia were going. Go ahead and deliver me whatever dumb fucking Twitter thread you were fucking reading on, dude. Please tell me exactly. Please tell me. You motherfucker, you don't know.
Or
I think that there's a difference between Destiny and Jon Stewart, and I would also say, I enjoy Destiny from time to time, not gonna lie. He seems to be doing as much as he can to not be a good debater. I don't mean that insultingly, but like saying that somebody's a good debater isn't necessarily it's not necessarily a compliment, because what you're telling them is that they're really good at like winning their side of the argument, even if they don't necessarily have facts on them. So like, yeah, Destiny is a debate bro, but I think he tries to not be. You probably could have come up with like a better, probably like a little bit of a better argument, but I get what you're saying. Where's my thing? What the hell? There we go.
Reaction and just talking shit about.
But Jon Stewart's not a debate, bro. This is like the problem. I don't know. I would always tell people to go look up, especially Jon Stewart's advocacy for like first responders and people like that after 9/11 was incredible. It was so powerful. Like Jon Stewart's such like an incredible. Like look up his interview on the Crossfire when he goes on the Crossfire, and I'm gonna link these in the description. And he like talks about how it's a performative action between progressives and conservatives who are just having performative debate bro conversations. Like I don't think that if you really, and I love Jon Stewart, so I'm going to be more educated on this topic, and I can't expect everybody to be educated. But like if you are,
I want to thank Mr.
If you've regularly engaged with Jon Stewart, like you would understand that like he's not a debate bro, he's a debate bro who's virtue signaling. This is a man who like cares about the content that he's making. I'm going to link a couple. These are such powerful. I'm going to link them in the description here. But there are so many powerful conversations that this person, that Jon goes into, and he really cares. And I feel that, So I don't know. I don't think it's fair to just call him a debate bro and with the subtext that he doesn't care about the content that he makes.
Look at how dumb these people on the right are. Oh, look at how hypocritical they are. Blah blah blah. Because it implies that the people that are peddling this stuff don't know what they're doing. Or that it's not as intentional, or that it's an individual thing where either they just don't know better, they're too stupid to learn.
No, it doesn't. Like I don't know. Like it's a not. You can't get everything out in a 9-minute clip. Jon Stewart constantly talks about how it is intentional from a lot of these people. Like I've watched him talk to other people about like how it is very intentional what they're doing, and how like the Conservative Party doesn't stand for anything anymore, and how there's like listen, you'd have to engage more consistently than a 9-minute or a 1-minute TikTok clip and a 9-minute segment from one of his shows. It feels like I don't know. It feels too easy. It feels like it's weird. It feels like you didn't. And listen, I don't know. This is an important topic to me, right? When it comes to this, it feels like you didn't put like a lot of work into like the research of Jon Stewart, and just felt like maybe you could make a progressive consuming piece. because people on each side, I say especially the more progressive side, tend to like consume themselves more for some reason and shit on each other for like pedantic criticisms when it doesn't necessarily like super matter. We've all been there, but this kind of feels like that. And you don't really have any actual basis for what you're talking about other than you saw a clip and you decided that 9 minutes represents 20 or 30 years of Jon Stewart's career where which speaks for itself if you've ever really engaged in it.
Or that their hypocrisy is holier than thou and blah, 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 blah. These people know what they're doing, especially these folks that are in public office. This whole debate, Jon Stewart is saying all of these facts and statistics and is like trying to get this man to see reason and logic, to just understand that his whole point about wanting more guns to make people safe doesn't make sense. That everything he's saying, he's contradicting himself, that he's tripping over his own words. Jon Stewart is trying to get him to see this. But at no point does it occur to him that he could throw all the facts, stats, and information and it could all be absolutely true and backed up by experts. And this man is not going to change his mind or admit that he's wrong or even care that you're calling him a hypocrite because he's still in public office making these policies. He still has the power to do that stuff, to affect people's lives in Oklahoma.
So here's my question. And hopefully you answer this question in your video. And this is something I'm really tired of. I think that we need to have like a standard that is stop complaining about things unless you have your own solution. So what you're saying here is that Jon Stewart shouldn't interact with conservatives who may be grifting because they're not going to agree with it anyway. So what's the outcome of what you're saying? Just don't talk to each other? First of all, I think it's a good thing to have conversations because nobody in their right mind will instantaneously agree with everything somebody says. If you have a very stern ideology on a particular thing, you're not going to be wavered in one conversation. But it's about like kind of having that conversation and starting the dialogue and slowly allowing it to kind of creep in and impact people. And when you have this conversation between a progressive and a conservative, there's going to be people who are going to show up for the progressive. There's going to be people who show up for the conservative. The idea is if you can get through to you might not get through to the person who has like a financial incentive because of the party lines or, to maintain office and, and just agree with people, but you might get through to his audience. I just don't know what you think he should do. Should he just not talk to conservatives? That, I think, is the biggest problem that we're experiencing today. I feel like there are conservatives who may have engaged with this and gone like, oh, that makes sense. Like, oh, shit, what's your solution? What magic do you think you could engage in? Like, what's the actual solution? Because this just feels like nitpicking without a solution yourself. And I don't like people who say no to everything that somebody does, but then they don't provide their own, what do we do? It's annoying. It's frustrating.
Is this right-wing hypocrisy? Or is it the right's coherent vision for enforcing a very specific social order? What is it going to take for liberals to understand that hypocrisy is not a charge for which right-wing authoritarians must answer at the risk of losing clout, but a tenet of and a testament to their power? The fact that these people can contradict themselves, can pretend to care about issues it's clear they don't care about, and act hypocritically at every turn, and still maintain the positions of power that they have is the reason that calling them hypocrites or pointing out the hypocrisy of the right, constantly trying to stand on a moral high ground, isn't going to do anything.
But it could. Again, what would you do? Because if you're a conservative audience member and you're watching that, you might go, okay, I still think that there's a problem with drag shows. But you know what? Maybe we should deal with like guns. Because one of the big things he talks about, which was fucking huge, if you listen to Jon Stewart talk about guns, is he specifically talks about how we need to do something to regulate better to help police officers. In fact, Jon Stewart does an excellent job. If you're a conservative listening to Jon Stewart, here's what you get out of that video. You get out of that video, we need to help police officers, which conservatives tend to fucking want to come all over disproportionately, frankly. I respect police, but holy fuck, some conservatives will jerk them off like holy shit. But anyway, the only time it's okay to be gay as a conservative is when you're jerking off a police officer. Okay. But he's like, we need to implement laws to help police officers take care of bad guys with guns. If you're a conservative listening to that, you're like, fuck, that makes sense. He talks about, I don't know if it's that conversation or the greater conversation, because I remember talking about this. He talks about, and I think it is in that conversation, but he talks about how one of the best things that we could do to reduce gun violence is to help police officers implement or enforce already existing laws about getting guns out of the hands of domestic abusers. A lot of the focus is on helping police create a better society, which is something that's going to signal to conservatives. That makes sense to me. This criticism feels like silly goosery to me. especially since Jon Stewart's not virtue signaling about how all these like different things. He's trying to appeal, and I think he believes this because, listen, I like police overall. There are problems for sure of lack of accountability and whatnot, but overall, I appreciate and I respect police, okay? And this is a good argument. Hey, get guns out of the hands of mostly men who are domestic abusers who use those guns to shoot women and children. And if we can enforce that law, you'd see drastically less gun deaths. But like, that's the problem. And your whole argument is like, well, he's talking to people who aren't going to listen anyway. But it's like, maybe you're somebody who's not listening too. What's the solution? Because it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. What do we actually do about it? What do we do? It just feels, I don't understand. This feels like why? What was the point of this topic? A silly goose alert.
Make us feel good for a bit. Sure, I'm not against that. But then what is going to happen after? The reason these people are able to act in these ways is because, honestly, they know how to organize and get the people that they want into. And I know democracy is a bit of a...
You want to know one of the reasons why conservatives are so fucking effective is because like a lot of young progressive people won't vote. Maybe they're working, but maybe they just don't care and they don't think that they could change the system. So maybe this will get people to go out and fucking vote. Maybe this will get young people to go, fuck, we need to do something about it. Let me vote for my local Democrat. It's not just about the overall elections. It's about the local elections. Like, maybe that's what it's about. Maybe it's about inspiring people to just go, because there are more progressives in this country than there are conservatives. That's just a fact. But conservatives will show up more. They'll advocate for themselves more. They value voting more. That's why they're getting shit done, because they actually like value shit like that more. Maybe this will inspire some young people to get the fuck off their ass and try to make time to vote. Maybe that's what it'll do. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of different things we could say, but maybe that's what the whole point is. Maybe that's where he's coming from. Maybe that's a positive thing. Maybe it's about rallying the troops. People being like, oh shit, this is a real problem. Let's do something about it.
But they know how to get people that they want elected. They know how to get leaders into positions of power that affect social and political systems, things that affect our everyday lives. Being quote unquote better than them or smarter than them or more superior because you care about people and it's obvious that they don't, isn't really going to do much to people that don't care about people, especially people that like to use children as an excuse. Speaking of children.
What's the leading cause of death amongst children in this country? And I'm going to give you a hint. It's not drag show readings to children.
Correct, yes.
So what is it?
I'm presuming you're going to say it's firearms.
No, I'm not going to say it like it's an opinion. That's what it is. It's firearms. More than cancer, more than car accidents.
Yes, it's a fact. Senator Dom does not give a fuck about your children. Oftentimes when I see debates or interviews like this,
right, but you do realize that if you're a conservative listening to that, and you think that Senator Dom actually cares about your kids, and then you hear this line, you might go, "Oh fuck, does he really care about my kids?" That's a thought that's supposed to be implanted into your head. So what's the criticism? I don't understand. I don't.
Panels or people are arguing. It's maddening because sometimes, and I have been this person, so I get it, but I want to shake all of us and just be like, these people know exactly what they're doing to your children. They do not want to see the weirdo queerdos, the confusing gender non-conforming, the trans kid. They don't want to see any of it anywhere. Even if your child who feels like that is at a much higher risk of unaliving themselves, these people do not care. And talking about
so how do you make them care? What would you do? You know, I don't know. This is the frustrating thing about some progressives who tend to be completely enthralled by audience capture, who mostly appeal to other progressives, and there's nothing wrong with that. But like, you know, the most important battle is to talk to people who aren't progressive when it comes to advocating for progressiveness. You know, there's a lot of content that might feel almost gratuitous. It feels more like, hey, you know, we're all thinking the same thing. You know, this is a feel-good piece. It's like, okay, but what about the conservatives? How many, like, do you think that conservatives are tuning into your content and going like, oh man, really good point, right? Like, there is like an ideology that is centralized around hating LGBTQ people. So just saying that over and over again doesn't change a conservative's mind and make them like, they're frankly, I think the overall people are afraid because they don't understand it. And when you engage in this way, you know, it's obviously gay people should have fucking rights, but some people, they're so conditioned by God. They'll say, facts don't care about your feelings, guys. Trans people don't exist, right? Because you're delusional. But they'll believe in a magic man in the sky who tells people that in order to test their faith, they have to threaten to kill their own baby. I love I genuinely love God. I don't like organized religion. But how, like, you have to do more than just say you're wrong. And I feel like there's a laziness from some progressives to just say you're wrong because society mostly agrees with you. They agree with you enough so that you don't have to explain yourself. But when you have a smaller amount of society with disproportionately higher voting power, because they'll show up to an election, you have to treat those people like they're people and talk to them. And it's like, what are you doing with your content where you're doing that? You know what I mean? I'm not saying ruin your content, but or change it or something. I'm just saying, like, the weird disproportionate criticism for a man who spent his entire life trying to advocate for what he feels is the right thing to do. It's frustrating.
Debate that they were specifically talking about, gun violence. It is not this man's kids that are likely to be victims of gun violence, at least in their mind, right? I don't even know if this man has kids, but this goes to a more general point. I mean, you can even look at the pro-life argument that a lot of folks that are right-leaning will say. They will talk about wanting to be pro-life, but if you ask those same people, are you going to be okay paying higher taxes to help with social programs for all these kids in these areas? No, but I thought you cared about the kids. I mean, Sandy Hook taught us if they weren't going to care about little white kids getting killed at school just for going to school, they were never going to care, y'all. That should have showed you. And people like Representative Dom, they're not worth.
The problem is that, like, people, listen, again, one of the ways that you need to understand is you have to not assign the worst intentionality to everybody. I would say most pro-lifers, they don't hate kids, and they don't realize that there are some ways that maybe they're engaging in a way that would be considered cognitive dissonance, right? So you're like, oh, well, so you want babies to be born, but you don't want to support social programs to help them. Like, you want to know why they probably don't support social programs? Because our government isn't particularly effective at actually taking our money and using it on things that help us as much. And so, like, that's their whole argument. It's like, well, it feels like we're getting fucked either way. It's not right, but, like, you have to address these problems. You can't just assume everybody's grifting so that you could be lazy about it. People who are pro-life, they do tend to, like, they value that. Like, okay, I value children being born. I think that's a soul in a life that's being taken away. You have to address that. You have to meet people where they're at and go, okay, I understand what you're saying, but now let's have a conversation about some people who are still alive, and maybe have a conversation about this, that, and the other thing. Because most people are decent people who care about other people. I know that's a hot take, but when you just instantly assume that everybody's, like, operating in, like, some kind of grift, you're not helping. You're just not helping. You have to meet people where they're at. And the video kind of feels like you think that all conservatives are bad people. And so, like, you've demonized the other side. You haven't met them where they're at. You haven't engaged, like, intellectually with their point. You haven't tried to be empathetic to what they're saying, feeling, and thinking. It doesn't make them right. And then you're just shitting on Jon Stewart, who's trying to do that. It's just bizarre. It's frustrating.
Worried that it's going to be their children. So why would they need to care? Why would they need to worry about being called hypocrites in the first place? They're not losing anything. They might look stupid for a few minutes, but they can go nurse their wounds with the people that think like them. It's really not that complicated. Dom and his ilk don't care about protecting children. They care about protecting certain children from certain things, like books and drag queens, that they consider threats to a white supremacist, patriarchal social order.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, maybe. You want to know what's more likely? That they don't understand gay people and they think that they're actually grooming people. And they're not. We use words like they're fucking buzzwords now. But, like, most people are uncomfortable. And the problem is you have the pages like fucking libs of TikTok who will take the most extreme, like, moronic, like, people and be like, see, this is all society. So you'll have, like, teachers saying shit like, oh, we should fucking teach all kids, like, gender ideology. It's like one teacher of a million. But then people are like, oh my God, is that really it? It's fear-mongering bullshit, right? But that's what's happening. And people believe it. You have to meet them where they're at. You have to explain to them, like, oh, there isn't a fucking an LGBTQ fucking conspiracy to ruin the world. Like, relax. It's not that deep. You have to meet them where they're at.
That's it. With this understanding, what's even...
And honestly, I don't know if it's a desperation to maintain a white supremacist. Maybe it is. But, like, that language isn't going to help a conservative, like, agree with you. Right? And it's just fine. You don't have to be the person that tries to reach across the aisle. But, like, don't shit on people who do.
Point of pretending to debate a creep like Dom on policy particulars. So what did we learn?
Nothing.
I am not trying to say that I didn't enjoy this public dressing down, that I wasn't appreciative of...
You're trying to say that it was ineffective, and I think that's a big problem because it wasn't.
a cis white hetero man with, I don't know, maybe something to lose. I don't know. Not really, but saying some shit and standing up for the little guy. However, I am always talking to y'all about practical action because we could talk all.
You haven't said a singular thing about practical action in this video so far. And for 14 minutes in, you haven't said a single thing about any. You just said Jon Stewart did a bad thing. You didn't say what the good thing would be. You're not talking about practical action at all here, frankly. What are you talking about?
Day long, all up and through these internets about the shit that's going left and what we hate about it. But if we don't do anything, then we just talking. And something that I think people that are more conservative and right-leaning know how to do is talk, but also put that shit into action, particularly legislation. I'm doing research for season 3 of You Can Always Change Your Mind, and something that's coming up because I'm trying to focus a lot more on history, actually.
So what's your point here? Go vote? Like, yeah, for sure, you should do that. But I think that Jon Stewart's more effective at getting young people to want to vote than you are here. Like, yeah, go vote. It's a good idea, guys. Like, hot take. For sure. I don't remember what I'm supposed to do.
It's just how much we make progress and then we feel like things are going back. And then we make progress and then it feels like things are going back. And that's just the nature of things, sure. But it's also about remaining vigilant. And I think clips like this, even if they're great, even if they make sense and they're passing around that good information that we need and calling these people out on their hypocrisy and their lies to let people know, hey, this is who you probably shouldn't vote for. It's a momentary bit of feeling good. It's like the infographics, you know? It feels good to repost. You feel special. You feel like you did something or you cared enough to do something. But that doesn't always materialize in the real world.
Holy fuck. Like, after their whole interaction with Abba and Preach, I was like, oh, they're smart, but I didn't like that video. But this is infuriating to me. Like, you're saying that you're boiling down his entire career to just never being effective in any capacity. Based on what? Like, bro, this is a fucking virtue signal. Oh, well, this just isn't the right way to engage. And then you're not telling people the right way to engage. Like, you have to have conversations with people. You realize one of the reasons why we're as divisive as we fucking were, or we're as divided as we were since the fucking Civil War, is because of this shit. Because don't have conversations with people. Don't try to meet them where they're at. Don't try to do this. Like, that's this is the problem I'm having. That's like one of the biggest fucking problems. You realize that, right? Like, that's the issue. You need to meet people where they're at. The conversation is so fucking necessary. Holy fuck. Oh my God. I hate this. Like, you're ineffective and you're complaining about other people's effectiveness. It's insane.
And thinking that people like this care about being seen as hypocrites or care about at all whatever moral high ground we have to stand on is a mistake that I've made. And maybe some of them do, but it seems like a good portion of them, or at least senators like this one, scammers like George Santos, all these types of people, you're trying to have a moral high ground with people that have shown you their morals. They've shown you. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. That doesn't really mean that people get second chances, so I don't really agree with that. But, I want to read y'all one last quote from an article that I was quoting a lot from called "It's Not About Hypocrisy" by Laura Wagner. Pointing out so-called right-wing hypocrisy might make the Jon Stewart watching crowd feel superior to their political foes, but it does nothing to actually build a movement capable of overcoming them. In fact, it does worse than nothing. Its smugness serves to flatter the sensibilities of its liberal viewers while obscuring the way political power is built and used in this country. We can be smug and we can celebrate when people get their comeuppance, but if there's nothing happening after that, we're just being smug.
How do you know nothing is happening after that? Well, you're assuming that nothing happens after that. I genuinely feel like it's a wake-up call to a lot of people, even progressives, to be like, okay, we have to kind of get our shit together. Okay, I'll tell you one thing. Since I've watched that clip, one of the big things that I've been trying to talk about is getting people to realize that there should be more to the conservative party than just anti-LGBT bullshit, and actually start giving a shit. Like, I don't know, it's inspiring, I guess. I just feel you read like an article that was just like it would just wanted to disagree with Jon Stewart. And then you're like, yeah, this makes sense. Okay, whatever.
I'll put my resources in the link as well, as always, but I will also put a link to an episode from If Books Could Kill, of course, a podcast that I adore. But Michael Hobbs is a journalist and researcher that I respect. It illuminates a lot of the things a lot of the talking points and jargon that people are using against trans kids particularly, it combats a lot of that. And if anything, it's a great thing to have to just arm you with information as well, because I think it's important when we have so much information coming at you and it's hard to know what's real and what's not. So yeah. Lydia, hi, do you want to say bye? You want to say bye? Anyways, let me know your thoughts below. Oh, Lydia, girl. As always, don't forget to feed your plants, water your plants, and remember that you can always change your mind, because you can. Like that. Lydia's like, girl, if you don't put me down. Yeah. Oh, feed plus water plus, you can always change your mind. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye. You'll never find.
Yeah, man. That video was fucking terrible.
Zed King super chatted $10. Republicans are able to get legislation through because they don't do this crap and push down their infighting to unify for an objective.
This shit's really frustrating. Obviously, I like Jon Stewart a lot, and he's led me to be, I would like to say, if you don't think I'm a particularly empathetic person now, okay, certainly more so after, engaging with Jon Stewart. I respect and appreciate him. I respect and appreciated the conversation. It's not about exposing the hypocrisy and making that person change their mind. It's about starting a social conversation for both progressives and conservatives. It's about giving progressives the ammunition possible to be like, hey, listen, and redirect some conservatives. Be like, bro, is this really the only thing you care about? Because I would say that they're conservatives like, damn, you know what? I still do think that drag is a problem, which it's really not. But it gets them to think like, okay, there are other issues that conservatives aren't addressing. I don't know. I feel like it's exponentially more effective than... I think it's more effective than this. It seemed like your entire thing was fuck Jon Stewart. It didn't help at all. And just go vote. You should go vote. But how do you inspire people to go vote? Because we've been telling people that they should vote for a long time now. And guess what? They're not. There's nothing inspiring or particularly, I don't know. I didn't like the video. I felt like it was just like it was just trying to be like infight for the sake of fucking infighting. For what? You boiled his entire career down. You boiled Jon Stewart's intentionality down to this. I don't know. Engage with him more. Look at more of his shit. Whatever. All right, end of this fucking video.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.